Happy heavenly birthday, Choosey. Mama love you and I miss you. So, now as I've said before, I had a wonderful time in St. Louis for my sister's 75th birthday celebration, guys. I had a absolutely marvelous time. It was just incredible. Now I've written this in honor of Choosey, whose legacy will always live in me and whose memory I carry daily. So near the end of my trip, I had a very moving conversation with my brother-in-law concerning death. In just a few seconds, I want you to listen to these powerful words that he said to me. They reminded me that Choosey's death, although it was shattering down to the core, it provided me with strength. And with God by my side, a family that supports me, and I them, I will always carry on steadfast. My daughter was such a kind soul. There was never a problem that she wouldn't rush to solve. Ultimately, it was her being the right person in the wrong place at the wrong time, surrounded by people that she would go out of her way to save. But that's who she was. She was struck by a bullet meant for someone else. In that moment, she transferred that flame, that energy back into my hands. And with that, I vowed to carry it until the day the world knew how special she was. Remember, if you have had a loved one that passed, their energy has not been lost. Energy is not created, nor is it destroyed. It is only transferred. They have always been here, always is here, and will always be here. Guys, remember that. Choosey was a skilled individual, and she had many aspirations. No limitation. I mean, she was a filmmaker. She wrote the movie Twist of Fate. She edited over 50% of the movie. She starred in the movie. Oh my gosh, she was just so outgoing. She had a whole album, 2 albums she left behind. She was a magazine editor. She wrote 3 magazines. Did all the work, editing of the magazines, the whole 9 yards. The list goes on, guys. And then she was a peace activist, fighting for peace, asking people to put the guns down. Well, I'm gonna set you right here just for a second. Let me talk to these people. With Choosey passing, I didn't want to be stuck in the same place. Even though I love my city, Memphis, it reminded me of my daughter's death. So, with a clear decision that I needed to move to a place I can continue to grow our legacy, we landed in Houston, a bustling metropolis teeming with opportunities. So I opened one of the hottest restaurants here in the city of Houston, Memphis style wings and things, and that grew into a food truck. I began serving the community with recipes inspired by my family. Choosey's son, Rico, he created the Choosey Sweetie, which is absolutely amazing. People are absolutely loving that sauce. Inspired by his mother, Choosey, of course. My wife and I, we created a blend of seasoning inspired by the city we love dearly, which is Memphis, of course. And Memphis style wings and things was created. You know, we constantly have to remind ourselves that life is fragile and precious, should be cherished at all times. And life and death are always highlight and give flowers to Choosey. Always. Her legacy is my legacy. We sometimes feel as though an enemy has caused this disaster in our lives. But as time passes, we realize that God's plan is without mistake. There are no losses, only lessons. Choosey's passion as a peace activist only grew in her passing. Her energy rippled out into the universe and has allowed me to continue to strive for better for our family. With the restaurant and the food truck to the reality show, we will spread her message and our love to the people who need to hear it. And hopefully with that, one person's life will be saved. The violence in our community will stop and peace will be achieved. So let's listen to these short words from my brother-in-law, Barry. Let them inspire you to carry on in that loved one's place. And no enemy will ever diminish that flame.
Workers out to plant wheat in a field. But while they slept, an enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat. And when the wheat started to grow, the weeds also grew and choked up the wheat. And the workers came to the landowner in sorrow and said, "Lord, did you not plant good seed in this field? Well, where did all of these weeds come from?" And the master said, "An enemy has done this." And so the sorrowful laborers said, "Well, master, should we just give up and plow up the whole field?" But the master said, "No, because see, when you're trying to pull up the weeds, you're going to take some of the good seed, some of the good wheat. Here's what you do. Let them grow together until the harvest. And I have a time that I will pluck the weeds out of the garden and put them in a stack and burn them. But I will gather the wheat, the good wheat, into my barn." After Jesus told the story, the disciples asked him, what did that story mean? He said, "The field was the world. The good seed were the people who believe in God and follow God, the good of this earth. That was the good seed. And those who sowed the seed were the angels. The enemy that came by night was Satan, and his evil angels came and sowed the weeds among the wheat. And the harvest is the end of the world, where God will gather up his enemies out of the field and burn them. But he will receive those who are good, those who believe him, know him, and serve him. He will receive them into his paradise."